Yeah.
94.7 the NKZND, Brock and the Fat Guy. We got Jesse on the phone, KILLSWITCH ENGAGE, but also Times of Grace. Let's talk Times of Grace.
And also The Empire Shall Fall.
That's right.
Are you still doing Empire Shall Fall?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm the new mini Mike Patton, I guess. I'm just a band whore.
Right. We actually played Times of Grace in regular rotation when the CD first came out, and we throw it in from time to time. Tell us about Times of Grace.
Times of Grace is just a project between Adam and I. Just the two of us wrote a record together going on about 5 years ago now. That record is old, but it was only released last year. And it's pretty much a record that Adam, most of the demos and riffs came to his head while he was laying in a hospital bed recovering from back surgery. So it's very much getting inside Adam's mind and what he did to cope with his situation. And gave me a phone call one day out of the blue and asked me to sing on it. And, of course, accepted and used the record to go through another dark time in my life that I've been suffering through, hence the title of the record, The Hymn of a Broken Man. So it's pretty much the two of us, bloodletting our lives on a record and just making it melodic. It's very melodic, and it's sort of, people compare it to what we've done with KILLSWITCH, but it's got a little more of a darker ambient vibe to some of the songs.
When I first heard the record, I told Brock that I felt that this could have been the second KILLSWITCH record. Do you agree with that at all, or do you think that are the bands for you and Adam completely different and the writing process completely different?
Yeah, I think the difference is too. This is years later. If I had written a record after I was just breathing, I think it would have been different. Obviously we all go through things in our lives, and what I was going through at the time while writing that was a pretty dark time. And I'm not sure. You never know. You can always play the what-if game with where your life would have been if you would have done this or would have done that, but I don't think the lyrics would have been the same. I don't think so. I think they probably would have been a little less dark, because if you really read those lyrics, there's positive spins to every song, but we're talking some really dark stuff in some of those songs. The End of Eternity, End of Days, those are straight out of me writing, in a really dark place, like borderline suicidal. So I feel like the life experience, is reflected in writing, and I don't think that would be where I would have been if I stayed in KILLSWITCH and made that sort of the second, third KILLSWITCH record rather. It stands on its own. There's similarities, but that's a different beast.
Well, I want to play a song from Times of Grace. So I've got two in the system. I got Strength in Numbers and Willing. Which one do you want to hear?
Strength in Numbers.
Let's do it. It's we got Jesse, KILLSWITCH ENGAGE. So happy to have you back, and we'll talk about that, and we'll try to bribe you into kidding your ass up here and playing a show.
Oh yeah, I love Alaska, man. You kidding me? I'd like to go up there, play a show, and spend a week and go hiking now. So
what I would like to see Times of Grace play Coots, and then KILLSWITCH play Sully. That's what I'm saying.
There you go.
So, here's nice. Strength in Numbers, Times of Grace on 94.7 the NKZND. It's Brock and the Fat Guy. 94.7 the NKZND. It's Brock and the Fat Guy. Jesse, and I told you this off the air, and I kind of feel dumb whenever I get the what do you call it? The
fanboy?
Yeah, fanboy. But I am. I'm a huge fanboy of KILLSWITCH. It's funny because, before I moved up here to Alaska, I was a huge fan of 36 CRAZYFISTS. And
you said before. Wow.
Yeah. What's that?
Now you're not?
No. What I'm saying is I didn't even know Brock, I was just a huge fan. And then when I got to meet him, I was like, oh, this is awesome, And now he's my partner, so.
Yeah, well, I'll interject and say this, because this needs to be said, too. I am a huge 36 CRAZYFISTS fan.
Jesse.
And I always have been. And Brock, to put him on the spot, he's just a great guy. I think if I would have lived any closer, him and I would have already written a record together and been hanging out at the bar together.
Yeah,
Brock's my homie.
We've been flirting about that for years. I was going to mention something and thanks, Jess. I love you. I wanted to mention that this is something that most people definitely didn't get to do, except for maybe his inner circle of small friends. But years ago, I was on tour with In Flames in New York, and Jesse and his beautiful wife Melissa came in to hang out with us. And he's like, man, I got this new record. I did it with Adam. Where's your CD player? I'm like, let's go backstage, dude. Are you kidding me? So we go back there and puts on the album, right? And I'm blown. It's just blowing the doors off.
He's talking about the Times of Grace album.
Yes, yeah. Times of Grace album, and just blows the doors off me. Right, I'm like, oh my god. So, but I remember Jess was like very protective of that CD. You know, he's like, no, this is like for his hands only, basically, and I totally understand that. But I was praying that for some weird reason my CD, my laptop would have just imported that CD automatically. Next day I was like, damn, dude, did it do it? And it didn't. But it's really a testament to that album that it just came out, a year ago, and it's so relevant. It's so. And it's weird because you said the second KILLSWITCH Engage record, which would have been the third,
right? Sorry,
but it's such a great album. And I was in Portland actually just to further my stories with Times of Grace and Jesse. But I was in Portland visiting, and I was just lucky enough that they were playing in town. Got to go and hang out with the boys and watch the show, and I saw it live, and I'm very grateful for that. They were amazing live. Before this Howard thing, or when the Howard thing happened and we heard Howard was stepping away, we were like, the boys should just, because they were talking about getting a new singer, and I'm like, I don't know about that. But I was like, they should just get Justin on drums and move over to Times of Grace.
Yeah.
That would be what, and me and Fat Guy were like totally on board for that. But then, graciously you came back to KSE and the world.
Yeah, and I'm really glad. I got to say this, just be on the record by saying this. Like, I have the 14 demos for the new KILLSWITCH record, and let me tell you, I'm glad that they didn't turn into Times of Grace, and I'm glad that KILLSWITCH is going to have the opportunity to write another record with me, or a few more, God willing.
That's cool.
But,
so
I can tell you right now from the demos, the people are going to be really surprised. They're going to.
Have you had a chance
to write to it? They're setting the bar high once again.
Have you had a chance to write to it or demo anything yet?
Yeah. I'm literally within like day 3 of just listening to them and sort of digesting them. It's really fast. It's really heavy. And it's not what people are going to anticipate.
Awesome.
I'm sure. I literally am getting chills right now talking about it. It's going to blow the doors off of people, man. It's going to be great.
Now, you mentioned, Jesse, and and I'm going to bring Brock up on this. Brock, we've established on the air that, because of family and whatnot, the touring thing can take its toll. Yeah. And you had mentioned that was kind of part of one of the reasons why you left originally. Are you, with KILLSWITCH being the huge name that they are now, touring is kind of inevitable, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things I had to consider, and my wife and I are going on 10 years for being married, and I'm sure any person who's been married for a long time can tell you your love grows into this thing that you can't explain. It's this wise sort of knowing thing where when you're newly married, there's almost like an obsession and a real strong bond that you just need to be together all the time. And I still have that. I definitely still have that with my wife. We're very much in love. But it's also one of those things where, this has been my dream since I was a kid. And to get this opportunity, she was the first one to tell me, you got to go do this.
Cool.
That's awesome.
So once that was sort of out of the way, I was like, all right, well, then I got to figure out how I'm going to deal with it. And even touring with Times of Grace, the little touring we did, it's tough, especially when you're overseas, away. That definitely, it hurts. But it's just one of those things that kind of goes with it, and you make it work. If you both love each other, you just got to make it work.
And the love for the family and the love of the music, being able to put those together and be hand in hand with one another, I think is important. Yeah. So,
I also think it has a lot to do with who you're on the road with too. And, if you have a good relationship with your band, and there are people you can go to and just kind of be honest with and talk to, that helps a lot too. And I know I have that with those guys and Times of Grace, and the Empire Shuffle, all those guys. I'm not in bands with anybody that I don't love. I can't really point to anyone that I'm playing music with right now and go, I don't like that person.
Right. And I'm
completely blessed to have that, but that's the truth.
There's no reason to do it if that's not the case, right?
Yeah, but I know there's a good amount of people who will do that for the sake of just having their career or whatever. And that's it's a shame. It is what it is, but yeah. I don't have that problem, thankfully.
Well, Jesse, I'm gonna wrap up, but the ultimate question is, and I know that the answer that everyone wants to hear is an actual date, but please tell me you guys are going to be, when you get that tour down, and I know it's tough for the U.S. tour and it's also tough for the European tour, but consider Alaska, please. We want you up here.
Yeah, between all of us, in KILLSWITCH, we've already talked about how much we love getting out to Alaska and places like Alaska and Hawaii. And I'm sure we'll make it up there, man. We got it, man. It's a great place.
Yep.
Well, cool. Well, I'm supposed to tell you that Kurt from AK Soul says hi, and Sarah Peterson from Family Tree says hi. So
love Sarah.
Yeah.
Big love to that lady.
So, Jesse, thanks so much, man. Anything you want to tell your fans out there?
One love, and you know what? As cheesy as it sounds, the time indeed approaches.
Nice.
When can we expect? I mean, obviously you don't know exactly, but around when do you think we'll be dropping that new Killswitch record?
That's a good question. I know that all the guys really want to make this one count.
Yeah.
So my assumption would be probably not till towards the end of the year. I'm assuming.
Okay.
But I don't know, man. We'll see how it goes. I've already got my juices flowing. But, I want to make sure this record sort of pushes the boundaries a little bit and isn't what everyone thinks it's going to be.
Okay.
And I think it's important for all of us to come back out like a bat out of hell.
Yes, sir.
So nice to talk to you, brother.
Yeah, thank you guys, man.
Jesse, it's been a pleasure, my friend. Thank you for taking the time.
Always a pleasure, my brother.
Okay, buddy.
It's Brock the Fat Guy, 94.7 The End, KZND, the exclusive first radio interview with Jesse. Killswitch Engage. Love you, man.
Peace.
94.7 The End, KZND.